All right, let's talk about the internet. Today, we're going to take a journey from the websites you scroll through every single day, all the way down into the deepest, most mysterious, and yeah, even the mythological corners of the digital world. Let's dive right in.
But before we start, I want you to think about this number, 96%. An estimated 96% of the entire internet is completely invisible to search engines like Google. The web we see and use every day, it's barely even scratching the surface. It's just the very, very tip of the iceberg.
And that tip, the part sticking out of the water that we can all see, has a name. It's called the surface web. If you think of the internet as this colossal iceberg, this is the part we all know.
So the official term for this is the visible web, or sometimes the light net. And it's pretty simple. It's anything and everything that a web crawler can find, index, and then show you when you type something into a search bar. The whole point of the surface web is to be found.
This is your everyday internet experience. We're talking about news sites, your social media feeds, online stores, forums, educational stuff like this, you name it. It's all public, it's all indexed, and it's super easy to get to.
Okay, so now let's take a breath and dip below the surface. This is where that other 96% is hiding. It's a huge, sprawling space that exists way beyond the reach of a simple Google search.
And the difference here is, well, it's massive. Unlike the surface web, the deep web isn't indexed. It's kept private on purpose, usually behind a login screen or a paywall. But here's the crucial part. This isn't some shady, secret place. It's just the protected part of the internet.
In fact, you use the deep web all the time without even thinking about it. Your email inbox, that's the deep web. Your online banking portal, your private medical records, all of it is kept off public search engines. And for good reason, right? You want that stuff protected. The deep web is absolutely essential for a secure, working internet. But as we go even deeper, the water starts to get a little murkier. You'll hear some people talk about something called the charter web. Think of it as a subsection of the deep web that's even more locked down. Getting in requires more than just a password, and the stuff you find there can be, well, pretty serious. You can kind of see how it escalates. You go from the regular deep web needing a simple login to the charter web, where you might need special software like the Tor browser. And then you hear whispers of even deeper levels, requiring what's called a closed shell system to get at super guarded info, like specs for experimental hardware.
And this brings us to the most famous, or infamous, layer of them all, the dark web. Now, it's really important to get this straight. The dark web isn't a totally separate internet. It's a small, very specific part of the deep web that's built for one thing and one thing only: total anonymity.
The real difference maker here is the technology. The dark web uses these special encrypted networks that basically sit on top of the regular internet. You can't just stumble onto a dark web site. You have to use special tools built specifically to navigate its anonymous structure. And the most well-known tool for this is Tor, which uses a clever process called onion routing. Here's how it works. Your data gets wrapped up in multiple layers of encryption, just like an onion. Then it's bounced all over the world between random computers. At each stop, only one layer of encryption gets peeled off. By the time your request gets to where it's going, it's virtually impossible to trace it back to you.
This technology makes the dark web a place of wild contradictions. On one hand, yes, it's absolutely a home for illegal marketplaces and cybercrime. But on the other hand, that exact same anonymity is a lifeline for journalists, activists, and whistleblowers who are living under oppressive governments. It's a really powerful tool, and it can be used for both terrible and incredibly important things.
Okay, so everything we've covered up to this point, it's all real. It's verifiable technology. But now we're going to descend past what we know for sure and into the world of internet mythology. We're talking digital folklore, wild theories, and straight-up myths. This is the question that keeps people up at night, the question that fuels countless online forums. What if everything we've just discussed is still just scratching the surface? What if there's a much deeper, much more hidden digital world out there? And that question leads us to the legend of Marianas Web. It's named after the deepest point on planet Earth, and the theory goes that this mythical layer of the internet holds the world's biggest secrets. We're talking top-secret government archives, proof of alien life, you name it.
But let's hit the brakes for a second and be really clear about this. There is absolutely no confirmed proof that Marianas Web is a real thing. The general consensus is that it's a myth, an internet ghost story born from our own fascination with the unknown. And from there, the mythology gets even stranger. Below the supposed Marianas Web, you'll hear talk of something called the fog or virus soup. The idea is that this isn't a place with websites or information at all. It's imagined as a chaotic digital war zone, just a swirling mess of old code, powerful viruses, and maybe even rogue AIs, all battling it out for control.
And at the very bottom, the final boss of internet mythology is the Primarch System. This is supposed to be the core of everything. The legend says it's some kind of anomaly, maybe discovered way back in the early 2000s, that's actually the internet's true operating system. An autonomous, maybe even sentient intelligence that governs the whole network, totally beyond any human control.
And this is where the myth kind of brushes up against reality. I mean, the Primarch System is almost certainly just a story, but it taps into a very real anxiety. As our digital world and our AI get more and more complex, are we slowly building systems that will one day operate beyond our own understanding or even our own control? It's definitely something to think about.